Hi, I'm Violet Valentine. I'm doing 2008 style video blogs about my movie God's Country coming to theaters this year, we hope. Um, Funny story, I just did a 38-minute video blog and I thought it was one of the best ones I ever did. I was going down journeys, I was blowing a lot of marijuana smoke into my webcam, always a hit. I had all these philosophical things to say about film and like the film movements of the moment and what I was excited about and where I fit into it. And I did not turn the microphone on. You think these computers, you would just turn them on and they would work. Excuse me. Thank you. That's a little touch up after my 38-minute amazing video blog. I could not reproduce it. Let me just talk about some of the things I was talking about in the last one. One thing I was excited about before I go on is I've always talked about is Tangerine a trans movie? It's one of those is Die Hard a Christmas movie questions. That's like, however you define it, you're fine. Don't think about it. Um, but I've always defined a trans film as a movie that was made by a trans person and like may or may not have something to do with transition or trans people or transness, let's say. And I've stuck to that one. I've like argued about it. I'm not the only not the only trans filmmaker who doesn't think cis people should not be making movies about us. If you're cis, please don't put a trans character in your movie. Please don't write about transness. It is always inauthentic. All we have is our authenticity, and taking that from us is a hate crime. Maybe I'm being a bit extreme, but I strongly feel cis people should not make movies about trans people. They are always inauthentic. They're always cringe. They're always negative to our cause. And I'm politely asking all cis people to please stop. However, which begs the question, is Tangerine a trans movie? Because on the one hand, it was made by a cis dude. On the other hand, tonight I was talking to a woman of color who like is an LA, a sex worker, to be honest. And she said she never saw herself till she saw that movie. She said that was the movie. Before she even transitioned, she saw it and she was like, "What's like?" It clicked for her. And I want to change my definition. I want to change it. It's always been a tough one because Sean Baker worked with the actors and built it around their life, and he's so good. But I always was like, well, it's technically not a trans film. I'd say it's a sex worker film. But now meeting someone that it touched their life, I have decided to change my definition to say a trans movie is something that trans people find authentic. I think the authenticity was there. She was like, I knew those girls. She thought those girls wrote the movie, I think. And I thought that changed how I think about movies and also about trans movies, which I'm like knee deep in making one. And it's been so exciting. Like, I'm so excited my movie gets to come out after a couple have come out. There have been two amazing movies that have come out lately and a lot more coming out. And like, that fact that there's like more of a buzz and excitement around these things that didn't exist. There was never no such thing as a trans film. Tangerine was like the first one, and like as far as like authentically trans films, People's Joker's got to be one of the only ones. There's obscure examples. I get in trouble because like Funeral Parade of Roses exists, and I would argue like Beaver Trilogy is a trans movie, although that's a complicated topic I have no desire to get into. And like there are other ones, and I'm not trying to like it's also hard to find out about them. I did not know about. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of trailers, and trans film is a pretty small niche of Twitter. So I don't know. So excuse me. So anyway, it's just been exciting that my movie gets to come out after these. That like they will be like I've been having a lot of fun comparing like themes and things I'm seeing in trans films that are like very quickly becoming interesting overlapping things. So I'm pretty sure we all don't know each other. We all came up with them ourselves around the same time, and to have these ideas being interpreted by all these different artists from all over the place with different backgrounds has been very exciting. Like TV Glow was definitely like an art school lens of queerness, which is a great way to do queerness. As an art school fan myself, that shit's sick. Like that's a and like but like with People's Joker was like a campier like a more Tim and Eric-y approach, which is also like a fascinating angle on it. And I've been thinking about like where I fit into that, of course, because all I do is think about my movie all day because it's not done. I want it to be done so bad. These editor thing, don't get me started. We have auditioned so many editors. You think if you're an editor and someone says you can do whatever you want, just be creative, that'd be an exciting prompt. I would think that because I grew up in sketch comedy and that's how I think. But there's that mistake people think where they think everyone thinks like them. It's the most human thing of all. It's why smart people allow stupid people to gain power. It's the history of fascism. But, not to bring everything back to that. But it's hard not to sometimes. But, I lost my train of thought. I was on one too. This is why the 38-minute lost vlog will always be the one. I can build that thing up and romanticize it. I made no mistakes. Anyway, I'm very excited to fit into a landscape because I keep comparing myself. And also thinking about what my audience is, because I'm thinking about my next movie a lot. And the question of a next movie is, what audience do I want to build? The other thing, too, is seeing these movies, you see the audience. Like, you go to a theater and you see the kind of people who are into them. You go to The People's Joker, it's like a 23-year-old in Joker makeup losing their mind. That is a type. And there were a lot of them in one place, and it was awesome. I mean, like, so as I think about my next big idea, I obsessed with starting with a good idea more. When I was in my 20s, I made a mistake, and that me and my friends were going to, like, put 40 hours a week. We ended up putting over a year, just like so much work into a project that we thought would all like make us. But looking back, there were a couple ideas we had, and it was a very close decision, and we ended up picking what I think was a bad idea. What I think was obviously a bad idea. And then putting a lot of work into a bad idea was very demoralizing for me. Up until then, I'd been pretty hot shit. I was young, but like I crushed it in my sketch comedy. I could do a tight five and crush in a comedy club. I've been asked to write for one of my favorite comedy writers in New York. The sketch comedy guy that I like worshipped asked me to write his work for him. I was feeling pretty hot. And when I made that show and it was bad, and I showed it to people and it was my face on the screen, it was like one of those like kids with the strict parents who gets like a B plus their first time and has a meltdown. Like I couldn't handle it. I admit it was hard to process at the time, but that show was such a failure. We thought it was going to blow us up. It was like this beautiful found footage, very interesting, almost too interesting. We should have just been funny. But we were like really into like wonder shows and an anti-comedy and like Adult Swim stuff of the moment and a lot of very early internet stuff. And I think we followed things that ended up being trends more than like legitimate tropes. Easy to Monday morning quarterback. It's also easier to know what's going to be a trend and what's not. But not to criticize my work from 15 years ago, but it did break my shit. And for a couple years after that, I like lost my momentum. Like I stopped being a full-time comedian and like a comedy person. And I slowly got over that, but it definitely leaves me with a thing that if I'm going to potentially spend years on this next project, it better be something worth saying, and it better be something that is exciting. My pitch for this movie, Lesbians Murder Billionaires, that to me is like, even if that's bad, it's good. Even if that's like a VHS shot for no money, and it's like got hot lesbians in it, and the billionaire kills are like fun, that's a good movie on its worst day. That's hard. You can't fuck that up. I like that about it. I want like, that to me is what made it so strong. Like it just is a good. It's a good pitch. It's a good one sentence. Lesbians murder billionaires. Boom. You know what you're getting. It's fun. It's exciting. It's pulp. It's exploitation. It's queer. Finding something like that for my next movie, I have a lot of ideas. I'm usually very excited about them when I come up with them, and then within 72 hours, like I think a great idea is going to stick with you. I had a friend and I agreed with him. He said he was just always having good ideas, and it like he just writes songs, and he'd write the song, he'd play the song, and like, you know, and then he'd forget about it, and like the good ideas would stick with you. You just keep doing stuff until there's one that gets stuck in your head, and that's the one. An annoying way to do it, but it would be nice to have a muse, as I talked about at great length in the deleted lost chapters. I know, like we don't want to hear about it. It was so great. Oh my God, you're so. You know, oh my God, you made a 38-minute video blog and you didn't have the microphone on. Oh my God. But anyway, what else do I want to talk about? I don't know. I forget if I even said that in this video blog. I've done so many now. I did. Maybe that's good enough. Maybe that's good enough. Maybe I've said, I look cute. That's what's important. What's really important is I look cute tonight. I went to a thing called Cruise LA. It was like a cool event where, whatever, I'm done. This is good. I'll just edit this end out.